And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette. And welcome to episode 608, the Bears edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. And what can I tell you? Hey, we're in second place, everybody. Hooray! For second place. Yeah. All right, hey, it is so glad to be back here. It is our 133rd episode, if you can actually believe that. I cannot. So let's meet the posse for our 133rd episode, episode 608. First, the yin to my yang. It is Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Oh, Matt, I am fantastic, sir. How are you?
You know what? I'm absolutely fine. I've got nothing to say. But
no good news, no bad news,
no
nothing?
Good news, no bad news, no funny quips, no nothing. I've not prepared at all.
You're just here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Back-to-back
not like his
shows.
quips are normally funny. He just has quips, so.
Somebody hear something? Is that my chair making an evil, naughty, nasty, squeaky noise?
I think it is. It's either that or
Probably about to break.
Or it could be our friend Dustin. Hi, Dustin. Is it
Hey, how
Dustin?
you guys doing?
Dustin, how are you doing? You've had an eventful day.
Yeah. I've had an eventful week, man. We had to move furniture all in the garage and upstairs so we could do the downstairs flooring. Got that done. Then we had to move everything from upstairs downstairs into the garage. After move everything out of the garage into the downstairs. Dude, I'm feeling pretty buff. I had to lift a lot of stuff this week, so.
You have pumped you up.
Joe, again, I can still imagine him going hi ho whenever he has to move stuff.
I mean, that's not a lie.
I did not. Well, Dustin, I'm glad you got everything done, and it does look great, by the way.
Yep, and that 30-10 update. 30-10 weight loss for life does work.
Oh yes,
everybody should know.
Yeah, I
am now down 20 pounds. 3 weeks we've been into it. Today is the start of the 4th week. So,
nice work.
Amazing.
Well done, sir. Great news. Kale for everyone.
Question, Dustin. Do you want a biscuit? Do you want a biscuit now? There's some biscuits here.
There's no biscuits, sir. Unless there's something lost in translation.
Cookies, sorry.
Biscuits, as we call them, cookies, yes.
There's no biscuits.
Speaking of one smart cookie, it's our news hound, Will. He's here. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
All right, how are your cookies, Will?
Oh, my cookies are fine. I'm a little depressed, though.
He checked them today. There's no unusual lumps.
Yay!
Yes. True. However, this is the first time in recent memory we've had a worse record than the Cleveland Browns.
Oh!
Ooh, very good. That's harsh. That's fucking harsh.
That is. You know, it was funny to see the scrawls that said Cleveland Browns best start in 4 years, and they're 0-1. But
in 14 years.
It was some ridiculous, yeah. Speaking of someone who always gets off to a great start, it is our friend behind enemy lines, of course, and that is Satsman Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello, everybody.
What's on your mind tonight, sir?
Well, sadly, the only cheering in my life is that recording that's playing right now. But yeah, you know.
Actually, we'll turn it up for you. There you go. Right, a little extra for you.
Actually, it is deserved because, and this may shock you, but my off the line or off the show picks from a week ago actually did better than my trivia. I mean, that isn't so surprising.
Congrats. Yes, he did make 3 picks offline. You can talk about that later.
I did. I think you did record that. But
I recorded it for posterity, but you can review when you do your...
I don't know why all of it. I am fading the Lions heavily, so we'll see if San Francisco, get their first win.
We will check that
later.
Out. We'll learn that later. But in the meanwhile, we do have a show to do. Fergie.
Let's get it started in here.
Yes, this show is run just like a real NFL football game. If you've never listened before, we have 4 quarters and even a halftime. Quarter 1 will catch us up on the news around the NFL. Quarter 2 will be a recap of that Broncos game. We do have to go through that. At halftime, it's the best Seahawk themed play-along game on the internet. 12-man fan jam show halftime trivia.
of the world.
And who was our winner last week? I seem to have forgotten.
That would be me.
Oh, yeah.
really?
I'm kidding. Congratulations, Will. It was a tough one. But, Will, can he make it 2 in a row? We'll find out.
Probably not.
Quarter 3, we'll have our injury report. We'll have our weather. We'll have our fashion report. We'll have our by the numbers. We'll also have a special compare and contrast about the Chicago Bears. And then quarter 4, we'll put it all together and have our predictions. Before we start, we'd like to remind you, like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have a great, we always do our great game day thread on there. We're on Twitter. We're on email. Downloadable podcast available on iTunes and Podbean. All right, let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL with our News Sound Will, brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Aaron Rodgers Bear Rifle. Slow to warm up, but always effective as ever in the end. It's the Aaron Rodgers Bear Rifle. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, Seattle's offensive line problems over the last several years have been documented ad nauseum, with the emphasis on nausea.
Yeah.
But we're not the only team having trouble fielding a good, consistent offensive line. A team you're probably a little bit familiar with, the Indianapolis Colts.
Indeed.
Well, it says something about how bad things were already when they were starting Jamarcus Webb at right tackle. But now he's on injured reserve this week. And there's an interesting stat now that he's out and someone else will be starting for him. Andrew Luck has played this Sunday will be his 72nd career game. The Colts will be starting their 37th different offensive line in front of Andrew Luck.
Ouch. Ouch.
He has less than 2 games average behind each offensive line.
Wow. 2 games, not seasons, not months, games.
Colts coach Frank Reich said it'll be a new combination, and that's a combination we will have a lot of confidence in. Because, they really don't have a choice in the matter.
Because the other 36 worked out great.
Okay,
Yeah.
The question here is, how many one-year college players do they have? Former basketball players, former defensive linemen converted off. See, those are the stats.
Lacrosse players.
Yeah, those are the Tom Cable-esque.
And you kind of feel bad for Luck a little bit, I guess. I think he's too nice anyway. I think he's just too nice of a guy. Like, I've never seen him get angry at anybody. He just kind of, he gets sacked and he goes, "It's my fault. Don't worry about it." It's like, no, dude, they lose a block. You need to tell him, "Hey, do your job." But, we'll see. Wow, that's that.
I always forget that Andrew Luck is still playing, to be frank.
Yes, a lot of people have. Forgotten that.
I don't know. That guy, if he gets in your face, though, neckbeard would be intimidating. Be like, "Dude, get away." Like, okay, I'll do whatever
get like caveman flashbacks.
He just yeah, and I have a little expertise or used to in this, Mark. He just sounds loaded sometimes. Like, yeah,
he does.
It's a great, I don't know.
A mouthful of marbles. I always say he has a mouthful of marbles.
Have you ever seen that Captain Andrew Luck Twitter account?
Oh yes, it's beautiful.
It's the picture they photoshopped him into a Civil War outfit because of the beard, and then it's written like somebody writing letters home from the war. It's great.
It's fantastic. It really is. And they actually show it on a local station here on Sunday mornings to kind of get you in a football mood over here. It's really cute, very clever. It's very clever. It's very clever. I bet he does like it actually, but because he has a good sense of humor. But yeah, he's. I feel bad for him. I mean, I feel bad for them, I guess. But we'll see. I know they're looking at, people are saying 6-10 over here. I think they're going to be lucky for that. But wow, that is an incredible stat, Will. 37 games, 37 lamps in 72 games. Woo! You're not going to have very much success there. What else you got for us?
Well, the Buffalo Bills, fans have probably had more fun tailgating before Bills games than going to the actual games of late. So, of course, there are new rules put into place to kind of curb that fun. They're going, Erie County Sheriff's deputies are going to be out in force looking for people who are drunk and disorderly. And the new fan code of contact also includes a ban on table slamming in the parking lots. I don't know if you've heard of this, Moses. I think you have a link you can put up.
Yes, we'll put a link up.
It's to a YouTube video showing people jumping through tables, body slamming tables, and occasionally slamming other people through tables. Apparently,
Like
this is
the
the thing
Boys.
in Buffalo. I'm kind of glad it hasn't caught on in Seattle, but not anymore. It's being outlawed. So if you're going to throw someone through a table, you will end up in the Crowbar Motel.
They had to make a rule. If they're doing it, they had to make a rule, or they wouldn't make a rule if they weren't doing it. Well, it gets so cold up there, they get so frozen, they just don't feel anything. That's what that is. Including their brains, apparently. But
well, yes, that goes without saying.
Matt, you guys got anything over there? You pick each other up, throw yourselves on the table in England?
No.
No, we have that here, though. That's WWE, W Boys.
Oh, yeah?
That's how that works. Gotta yell, Devon, get the table, and then they drop them through the tables, man. It's pretty awesome as far as WWE goes.
Wow. Man. I feel like I'm missing out on something there.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Although to be fair, when I was a public, I used to run a pub, and I did throw a punter who was very drunk and quite abusive across a pool table, but I didn't.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't break the pool table or anything. Nice. It's quite expensive. But I've done that, but I haven't done that out of jest.
I can't see. I see you like going. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to
I did
pick
all
you
of
up now
that.
and throw you across the table.
I did all of that. I did all of that. Please, would you mind just leaving? No, okay. So I'm going to grab you by your testicles and throw you across the pool table.
Then he said, "Bugger this," and threw him.
Those were not quite my exact words, but yes, a paraphrase of that. Yes,
I was in the ballpark. Cool.
I was.
You're in Matt's balls park.
Right.
No, Dustin.
Oh. Man, so listen, if you're going to Buffalo, the lesson here is you cannot throw each other on a table. Just stop it. Stop it, Buffalo, please. But wow. Well, thank you, Will, for the news.
Anytime, Moses.
This is a time where we usually take a headline, and we are going to do that. It's time for headlines and punchlines. Okay, headlines and punchlines. We just take a headline or a punchline from the news. Last week, we found a wonderful bunch of nicknames for our punter, and someone came up with a nickname on some webpage that we have this show on and said, Tricky Dicky, which I thought was pretty good too. I said, they're trying to call him Tricky Dicky. I was pretty good. So I figure why not go one more, because as we all know, last week we had quite a performance by a rookie tight end named Will Dissly. And so he was called Uncle Will, I think, up in Washington because he was a little older than guys.
He's got like 4 nicknames.
Yeah, he had a lot of nicknames. He's kind of a crazy guy. So I thought this week headlines and punchlines would be a great nickname for Will Dissly would be. So, all right, here we go. Mark.
Yes.
A great nickname for Will Dissly would be
Will Mean Machine Dissly.
Mean Machine.
Mean Machine. Mm-hmm.
In honor of Burt Reynolds.
Yes, there had to be a little ode to one of the greatest cheese balls ever in the human race, Burt Reynolds.
Yes. Mark, are you riding a Model T there? It sounds like.
From 1872.
I brought that headline in from 1912. Okay, sorry, there's a little feedback there. You're fine.
Okay.
Will.
Yes.
Will. A great nickname for Will Dissly would be
Willpower.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Man's on fire.
All right. He is. Dustin, a great nickname for Will Dissly would be.
I don't know how great it is, but I'm a kid who grew up watching Ninja Turtles, and we're used to the acronym TMNT. Okay. And knowing Dennis and knowing everybody else, my nickname for Will Dissly is going to be DNMC.
DMNC.
Dennis's new man.
Run DMC.
Crush.
Oh, I get it.
If his middle name starts with M, he could be WMD.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm
pretty
just trying to find a way to make it catchy. Dennis rivals Matt in his love for tight ends, though, so it's hard to do it.
True.
That's true. Well, that's what we're going to find out right now because I'm going to ask Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hello. Now, last week, you may remember that I did have a little bit of a moment with Dr. Depth, which was a 1970s porn.
Do I need to get the porn music out? Is that a clue?
Well, I understand that you keep the porn music handy.
I've been known to keep it handy. The porn music is handy. There you go. Oh, yeah. All right.
Ooh, yeah.
Are you ready? I'm going to
Yep.
set you up. Here we go. A good nickname for Will Dissly would be...
Big Willie.
Nice.
Big Willie.
Oh, the music, perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you have the music because mine's. I have a couple. One of mine is actually musical as well. Okay, the first one is not. The first one is new tight end who Disley, like new phone who Disley.
Oh dear.
Disley is how it's done.
Oh.
But my favorite is it's musical. You ready? See if you pick this up. Got a tight end, and he catch the ball. Just throw it to his direction. He'll have no trouble at all. Willie Dilly. Dilly Disley.
Very good.
Willie Dilly.
Yikes.
Willie Dilly. Willie Dilly. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That deserves honest applause.
That-
there.
Only on this show when
Encore,
you get something
kind of.
like
Don't say
that.
encore, Will. For goodness sake, don't say encore.
No, that was
Wrong
that
with
was
you, man.
that was SNL. That was SNL. Even if it were 12:50 a.m., that would be
Oh,
a
bless
quality
your heart.
SNL.
I got on I was just
skit.
put on because they had extra room. Thank you.
What about SNL? It was S&M almost.
Hey,
No, that was yours.
Whoa, like
Wayne-
the Rihanna song.
well, Moses, Wayne's World was born at 12:56
There you go.
a.m. or whatever it was your
So
time.
was this fantastic song. Willie Dilly,
Man,
Dilly
party
Disley.
time,
All right.
excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Let's end the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on the special Monday Night Football Bears edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia, weather, fashion, compare and contrast, injuries, numbers galore. But next, we're going to take a look at Sunday's loss against the Broncos. Sadly, we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
All right, welcome to the second quarter of episode 608 of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. So glad that you decided to stick around for the second quarter after I sang. So, unfortunately, second quarter of the games that of the episodes that we have during the season, we talk about the game the week before. Of course, the Seahawks losing 27-24 to the Broncos in a back-and-forth game. Neither team was ever out of it. A lot of lead changes, very closely played. A lot of good and a lot of bad, I think. Matt, what's your overall feel about good or bad on this game? Looking back.
Although, I mean, there were some moments of some really appalling football that really annoyed me.
Yes.
And then there were some other bits of some really good stuff. So again, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. I think a lot of the time, some of them really did look like rookies out there, which isn't surprising because a lot of them are. I think the thing that sort of kept coming over to me was about their run game. Just seemed to be they were running it hard against us, and we just couldn't seem to stop it. I mean, it's like, I wish Big Red was back. Do you know what I mean? I wish I had something in the middle there that was just going to stop them. It was that Freeman and Lindsay, I think. I think they both got about the same yardage, about 70 yards each or so. And that's a lot of yards, to give to two running backs. And the arm tackling started to get on my wick as well. Because we made a video about tackling properly. We made a video about it.
The tackling was poor in a lot of areas.
Somebody,
I agree.
Please make a decent tackle.
Yes, agreed.
And there was just one play which I've just got to touch on, 3rd and inches, and we threw the damn thing. And
gosh.
Well, I say we threw it. We didn't. Nobody caught the damn thing. But it was like, what the hell are we doing 3rd and inches and a throw for? Where's this coming from? I think Penny looked a bit slow and lumpy out there, but Carson's, would have been able to get that in, or even Russ making a little dodge. But 3rd and inches, and we're throwing it?
Yeah.
That's not good. Not good.
No.
From a positive side, though, because I've done a couple of negatives, from the positive side of things, I'm loving the ability of 88 to block. As I said in our chat, it's been a long time since that jersey had any blocking ability at all.
Yes.
So it's great that that's there. I love that we scored in every quarter. I think that's important. And I love the fact that this game was winnable. We weren't blown out. We weren't out of it by, 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
No.
We were right there all the way through. We had some missed field goals, which is unacceptable, really.
Yes.
And a touchdown that was probably not a touchdown against us. So yeah. I'm happy. I still think that we had a good showing, but some of the rookies looked a little bit rookie-ish.
Yeah, they did. I think I saw something where it took us 8 quarters to score a touchdown last year.
Mm-hmm.
And, we put 24 points on the board, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Will, what are your thoughts?
Well, we lost, so it's hard to, there are positives, but it's disappointing. Kind of piggybacking a bit on something that Matt was talking about the run defense. I'd expand that to the, people talk about third down defense. Our first down defense was pretty bad. It seemed like every time they got a first down, they were getting 5, 6, 7 yards. And makes it a hell of a lot easier to convert on third down if it's 3rd and 2 as opposed to 3rd and 8. So, that's something we've really got to do a lot better on, especially since we seem to get a yard or 2 at best on first down, and then we're behind the 8 ball. So one thing that I did like that was a very pleasant surprise was 3 interceptions, and could have been more, and could have been a fumble if we'd been able to manage that in time. Turnovers the last couple of years have been kind of hard to come by, and in the preseason, that was one thing that was a real concern, is because we didn't have any apart from that botched snap by the Colts. Right. So it was really nice to see us go out there and get the ball, and that, frankly, is the reason why that game was so close.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 turnovers. If only somebody would have put that as prognostication. Oh, stop it! Stop it! We'll get to that later. Oh, you kids. Hey, Dustin, what are your thoughts about the game?
Well, first of all, I like it when we win. That didn't happen. Effetti was overwhelmed. There's no two ways about that. Von Miller was above and beyond the better athlete.
Are you saying Effetti was subpar?
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
I might be saying that.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, and he's not the only one. Shaquem was as well. He wasn't right.
Yeah, he looked like a rookie, I think. And,
Yep. Nothing wrong with that, though, because, you know what? He's a rookie.
Yeah.
But I think what this game is it's hard to win up there in the opening game. Anytime you play when it's their hometown and it's the opening game is hard to win.
I think they're 19-1 in their home openers.
Yeah,
something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, so
I'm just going to agree because I don't care. It's hard to win like that, and it's it's one of those things where there's things that you can't control in the height,
Well, it doesn't help when they score more points than we do.
That helps. What I was talking about was not being able to train for that because we don't train for that.
Oh, the air, the thin air. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's one of those things where, Shaquem's a rookie, and he got overwhelmed. You got Trey Flowers over there on the same side. He couldn't do his thing.
Yeah.
It's predictable.
Yeah.
And we lost the game. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that would have thought we'd have won that game. It would have been nice, but I don't think most people thought it would happen. And we just have to let that thing go, move on. And
I agree.
Yeah.
And that's what
it's an AFC opponent. This is always my thing.
Yeah, that's right.
An AFC opponent that has nothing to do with our playoff stance. If we're going to lose games, I always prefer them to be to an AFC opponent, and then we move on with our lives, and that's how it is.
And that's what we'll do, and we'll move on. Mark, how you feeling?
I was, happy how we competed, as Matt said. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like this major downer. It was frustrating. There's a lot of ways to go here. I guess what we haven't touched on is we were hoping for a 40-year-old Seabass to come through. Right. On those field goals, he's kicked 1 million attempts in his life, and you think, especially in Denver, I'm sure his career there is pretty good.
Oh well, I'll just straighten that baby up.
Of all the things that we absolutely need to help this team and the offense is, You got to make those threes on the road. I was a little bit. I meant Russell Wilson is everything, but I was really the screen pass. Wanted to see a screen pass attempted was shocking, and then he throws an interception on that. That was just. It was a very Tony Romo moment that shocked.
It was
me.
a very un-Russell Wilson evening,
and the other pick he had was it seemed like the defender. Of course, all this is moving at 100 miles an hour for him, but it seemed like the defender was in his visibility range to where I was surprised he tried to get it to. Somebody, I forget which receiver, but it was a great pick off by Denver. But
yeah, it was.
I was surprised he made the throw. But I think the positives are, there's a ton of change on this team. It's always hard to win on the road. I think Carroll is now. Did I hear 1-8 in for just
on road the first 2 weeks of the year or something like that? Yeah, it's not good.
It's something anyway. But I think this team. I think we're looking at a lot of games like this where we're going to be competitive, and the difference between winning and losing is going to swing on the cliche
a play or two,
But there's very little margin for error. I would like to see them. I don't know if Infinity continues to struggle. I'm waiting. I just want to pull the plug on this, just like getting rid of the OC and the O-line coach. It's like you have to. It's difficult, and you want to give a guy a chance, but there's just in this day and age, you're not afforded patience anymore.
No, you're not.
And he was a suspect kind of prospect anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't think he's earned the benefit of the doubt. If nothing else, I'd like to see some real players develop this year, including a new right tackle or something.
Yeah, I agree.
But I was encouraged by the game because we had a shot at winning despite everything that's going on, despite rookies everywhere.
Yeah.
Shaquem, God bless him. I meant. That was,
he looked like a rookie, but that's okay. He'll
it's okay.
He'll grow.
But he mentally, he is strong.
And he made some nice plays too. So
Well, here's the thing that nobody talks about though. He's a rookie. He got pulled. They put in Calitro. Calitro's a rookie as well, and he played better, but nobody's talking about that. So, what do you guys think about maybe having Calitro in there as opposed to Shaquem?
Well, I think that's what they're doing. They're putting him in. They're putting Shaquem in passing downs.
Well, we signed Michael Kendricks today, so we got him until he goes to prison.
Right. Which I know that sounds funny. We'll talk about that coming up.
I think he tweeted out a few stock tips even. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the third quarter. The defensive line play, it seemed like Case Keenum was hardly touched at all. That bothered me a lot, especially with the young backfield and the young everybody. Earl Thomas didn't miss a step. He looked like Earl Thomas.
Yep.
Russell Wilson.
He tipped the one he probably should have intercepted.
Russell Wilson didn't look like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson didn't look like Russell Wilson, I thought, but it's going to happen. He's human.
He looked like bad Russell Wilson.
He did.
He's had a few bad games like that.
He has.
I feel for him a little bit though, because he always wants to make something happen. He always wants to extend the play and do something.
Yeah.
There are times though where you've just got to throw that damn thing away.
Yeah, but I think we can count the bad Russell Wilson games on one hand in 6 years. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. But all in all, it was a back and forth game. It was a tough game. We weren't ever out of it. We kept answering the bell, and it was a hard fought game against a team that's really good at home. So we will move on, and we shall move on now to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
All right, let's check our posse prediction challenge for this week. First, the scores. Mark Turner gets 3 points. He gets 2 points for a 3-point Bronco win, so he gets the point spread there. And he also gets the best score, 20-17 Broncos. Even though some of you had 24-27 the other way around. That's
annoying.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Get over it. Prognostications, a point to Will for 7 sacks, and a point to me for 3 turnovers.
I was hoping the dispensation of the 7 sacks would be a little bit different than it actually was.
Yeah, not 6-1. Yeah, but game ball, nobody. Team lost. You're not getting a game ball. Over and under was under. Point for Jose, Little Mo, Martai Turner, Pascal, and Will. Means the scores look like this after week 1. Martai Turner at 4, Will at 2. Jose, Little Mo, Mike Pascal, and Moses at 1. Everyone else just waiting to score. It sounds familiar for some of you, I am sure.
Yep.
Hey now.
And after 1 week, gentlemen, the prediction, prognostication, and game ball challenge.
It's hard to say.
Team 12, 7 points. Team Posse 3. We are already down 4 points. So,
but still,
All right, we're in mid-season form.
right out of the gate.
Right. I'd like to give them a little head start on this one.
I'll have to get John Ryan to come in here and take over for us or something. I don't know. All right.
Reminds me of a Mariners game in the 8th or something.
There's still a chance.
Ooh.
Still a chance. All right, let's go to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
Yeah, so much more show coming up. Does a bear crap in the woods? Do these bears always crap out in the fourth quarter? Who the crap is going to block Khalil Mack? All these answers and so many more just around the corner. But first, another fun edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up.
The world. Shit.
Next!
Damn it. Damn it,
You popped off at the wrong time.
I did, yeah.
Guys.
That's all right.
I did.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
Yikes.
The trivia game that
I was
tests the
hoping to make
knowledge
that laugh.
of both our posse and our listeners. Oh, our contestants of the posse themselves, Dustin, Statsman, Mark, Will, and Matt. And here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-Man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, you guys know the rules. Little Mo and Mosette did take the quiz, so you can ask them once during the first 2 rounds. And a point apiece. Our champion last week was our friend Will. Will? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Oh, man.
Let's get it started. I'll take 1.
Oh, Will takes 1. Dustin, 2, 3, 4?
4.
Mark?
3.
3. As you know, there are 3 questions about the Bears and Seahawks. Maddie, you have 2, by the way. And there is one that's...
I had worked that out.
maybe not necessarily about the Chicago Bears. Okay, here we go. Will, yours is a football question.
Well, that's
I bet you get this one. You're going to answer like you did last week. I'm not going to finish it. You're going to give me an answer.
Yeah, not jinxing me or anything.
No, well, I just know you. Okay, here we go. The last time the Seahawks played the Bears in Chicago, the Seahawks won in overtime. Who scored the winning touchdown? Marshawn Lynch, Sidney Rice, or Golden Tate?
Sidney Rice, and he got his ass kicked doing it.
Dance! All right, Sidney Rice, he got his ass kicked doing it, he says.
Russell Wilson's rookie year.
13-yard pass.
Yeah, look, listen to the big brains on all these guys. I'm going to make these questions harder. Mosette said Marshawn Lynch. Lil Mo said Sidney Rice. You said Sidney Rice. Yeah. Sidney Rice.
I'm still not another touchdown.
He did get his ass.
I forgot
kicked
all about that game.
Nah.
Oh, yeah, he took a shot to the head.
He did.
One of his teammates tried to haul him up, and the trainer's like, get the hell away from
Right,
this man.
exactly.
Can you answer my dogs?
Didn't he drop the ball Like, I mean, he caught it and then he dropped because he got hit, and they said he had held it long enough or something. Is that right?
Yeah, he caught it. He had possession and got into the end zone.
Yeah.
But when he got hit, I think he was dead to the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, he was.
Oh
done.
shit, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
Hello. Are you familiar with the rock band Chicago?
Oh, a little bit.
Okay, I just saw them like
That's
a
a
month
rock
ago.
band.
REO Speedwagon in Chicago. It was a really good show. But Matt, here's my question.
REO Speedwagon.
REO Speedwagon in Chicago. Okay. You heard me.
I'll take 1981 for 200.
It was awesome. How many Grammys has the band Chicago won? How many Grammys? 3, 4, or 5? How many Grammys has the band Chicago? They've been around since 1960, almost 50 years, I believe. How many Grammys has the band Chicago won? 3, 4, or 5?
I don't know. Is my honest answer. Now I've got to make a decision. Do I ask the kids, which is probably a terrible thing to do because they're not really going to know either, because they're not even going to know who they are.
Right.
So I'll say 5. Let's go for the top one. Let's pretend they're big.
Let's pretend they're popular. And say 5. Little Mo said 3. Mosette said 5. You said 5. Yeah, you got it. 5. They've won 5 Grammys. Oh my god.
The magic
they've
continues.
been around long enough, I mean.
The station won at least 1 or 2, right? Mark.
Yes.
Obviously, that means football questions the rest of this round for Mark and Dustin. Mark, the last time the last time the Seahawks lost the Bears in Chicago when the regular season was 2006. How many times was Matt Hasselbeck sacked in that game? 3, 4, or 5? Matt Hasselbeck, how many times was he sacked the last time the Bears beat the Seahawks in Chicago? 3, 4, or 5?
Well,
0, because the Hawks are awesome.
2006.
No. All right.
Hey, no cheating, Dustin.
I was still drinking in those days, so memory.
I remember that game. It would have made me start drinking.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna, off our esteemed routine winner, I'm gonna say 5. Same answer.
Hey,
as
well,
Matt.
if I'm not mistaken, was that game? It was like a Sunday nighter, and the Bears were rolling over everybody at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the crown their ass year, wasn't it?
I will say 5.
No.
You'll say 5?
Yep.
He will say 5. Mosette said 3. Little Mo said 5. Oh, that old familiar song. No, it's not. You got it.
Oh my god.
5.
Wow.
It's a
Wow, look at this.
second time in the last 2 weeks. I closed my eyes, I swung, and I connected. I can't believe it.
Nicely done. Dustin, everybody scored but you. Does that sound like prom night or what? Okay, sorry.
I mean, you pay what you get for it.
Yeah.
You know
All right, Dustin. I know what you mean. Hey, Dustin, the first time the Seahawks played the Bears in Chicago, how many touchdowns did Jim Zorn throw? 2, 3, or 4? First time the Seahawks played in Chicago, how many touchdowns did Jim Zorn throw? 2, 3, or 4?
Why would I know that?
I don't expect you to. That's why I ask it.
Oh, and he can't even guess 5.
No, 2, 3, or 4.
I don't know, man. 2?
I don't know, man. 2? Well, most said 2.
Jim Zorn to the Seahawks in '76, and I was born in '81, so
You already said 2. Are you staying with it?
yeah, why not?
Lil Mo said 2. Mosette said 4. You said 2. Yeah!
Oh,
Wow.
Everybody scored.
Look at that!
Everybody
Everybody scoring tonight.
Wow. When is the last time
Not
that
like
happened?
not like my prom night.
Not like our prom night at all. 5 through 8 again. Chicago Bears and Seahawks, except for one question. Will 5, 6, 7, 8.
7, please.
7 for Will. Mark 5, 6, 8.
6.
6 for Mark. Maddie 5 or 8.
8.
8.
Yeah.
All right, you're at number 5. All right. All right,
He
potty
knows
mouth.
That's
All
my
right.
strategy.
All right, potty mouth. Here we go.
Potty mouth?
Potty
All
mouth.
right.
Here you go. Okay, it is a
All right.
Chicago. It's a playoff question. The first time the Seahawks played the Bears in the playoffs, how many touchdowns did Sean Alexander score? 2, 3, or 4? First time the Seahawks played the Bears in the playoffs in Chicago, how many touchdowns did Sean Alexander score? 2, 3, or 4? Dustin?
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Hey, Dustin. The first time the Seahawks played the Bears in the playoffs, how many touchdowns did Sean Alexander score? 2, 3, or 4?
I don't know, 2.
I don't know, 2. That's what you did last time. I don't know. So this time you said, I don't know, 2. Lil Mo said 2. Mosette said 4. You said, I don't know, 2. Yes! 5 in a row!
Hell yeah.
All right. Mark.
Yes.
Also football.
Wow.
Oh, good.
The last time the Seahawks played the Bears in the playoffs in Chicago, the Bears started the game with unanswered points. How many unanswered points did the Bears score to start the game? 20, 21, or 28? The Bears started with unanswered points against the Seahawks. How many unanswered points did they score? 20, 21, or 28 the last time they played in the playoffs?
Ooh. Let's see.
That was right after Beast Mode, by the way, or the Beastquake. Yeah.
Right. No, I actually, I have memories of the game. They were down big.
20, 21, and 28 are your options.
For some reason, actually, you know what? I'm going to go to the kids.
Goes the kids. Mosette said 20. Lil Mo said 21. Nobody said 28.
Yeah, I know it's not the last one. I'm going to say 20.
You gotta say 20. You go with Mosette on that one.
That was actually good.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh,
pain.
I'm sorry.
oh man, that one was sharp.
Yeah, I don't know why it.
Gosh, turned that right
Yeah,
up.
it did not like you at all. 28 is actually the answer. Seahawks were down 28-0.
Was it
in that game?
28?
Yeah,
Shit.
and then came
Everyone
back.
else
35-24 was the final score. Okay, Will,
Yes, sir.
yours is not a football question.
Oh,
Back to normal.
sorry. Bad word then.
It's about the Broadway musical Chicago. They made into a feature film with Queen Latifah and Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones and Richard Gere. So my question about that movie is, how many Oscars did that movie win? How many Oscars? 5, 6, or 7? How many Oscars did the movie based on the Broadway musical Chicago win? 5, 6, or 7?
Kids.
Kids! Little Mo said 6. Mosette said 7. No one said 5. How many Oscars did the movie based on the Broadway musical Chicago win? 5, 6, or 7?
Well, movies I don't go see tend to win a lot of Oscars, so I'm going to go with 7.
I will tell you, I really like this film. I'm not going to lie.
I got my hand up and everything. Got my hand up, sir, and everything.
I really like this film. So you said what? You said 7?
7.
Lil Mo said 6. Mosette said 7. You said 7. No, I'm sorry. It was 6.
Oh, when did I get that question?
All right. Well, Matt, you do get this question.
Baka. Go on then.
In the history of the Chicago Bears, the Seahawks going in Chicago, for the Seahawks being on the road in Chicago,
right?
How many times have the Seahawks been shut out in Chicago against the Bears?
Ooh.
0, 1, or 2? How many times have the Seahawks been shut out in Chicago? 0, 1, or 2?
I will say in Chicago, though. Yeah.
In Chicago.
I reckon. Well, it must have. I reckon it's happened once. It must have really happened once.
Are you from Texas now? You reckon?
I reckon.
Yeah, reckon one.
Well, it must have one. Oh, okay. Can I ask the kids then? Or is it too late now? I've answered.
Little Mo and Mosette both said 0.
Nah. Must have happened once.
Once. He's going with once.
Never change your answer.
No, 1990.
That's it. Never change your answer. It's got to happen. What year?
1990.
I don't know. What was their score? Was it a lot of proper?
I don't remember. It was like 20-something to 0.
That was the season opener. I remember because we were going to do run and shoot that year, and we played so badly in that game we abandoned it, and Chuck Knox never even spoke of that again.
We should never speak of such things.
That's exactly what he said it too. You were at the
1990. Wow.
All right. Well, we are at the end of 2 rounds, and so of course you know what that means. It's time for the final question. All right. Final question. Here's how it works. It is high-low, of course. The person closest without going over gets 2 points, and it would appear that would be me 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion for this episode. As I look at the scores, we have Matt and Dustin at 2. We have Mark and Will at 1. So the order will go: Mark will get the first one, Will will get the second one, Matt will get the third one, and Dustin will get the fourth one. Here we go. It is a number, and I did this on purpose because y'all kind of made fun of somebody. It kind of hurt my feelings, so. I brought him back for this question, and it is this. Last year when the Seahawks beat the Bears in Seattle, how many receiving yards did Jimmy Graham have for the Seahawks? That's right. I said Jimmy Graham. How many yards receiving for Jimmy Graham, Mark?
Oh, my God. This is last year, you said?
Yes.
All right. Holy cow, I don't even remember. 75.
75. Will?
We played the Bears last year?
Yeah, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year, wasn't it?
Last year?
It was last year. It was early.
15.
Huh.
Was it 2 years ago? The last time we played them in Seattle. How about that?
There you go.
I've tried to repress my memories from last season as much as I can.
I thought it was last year. It could have been 2 years ago. You might be right.
Oh, who knows? I'll go 51.
All right. Matt?
I'll go. I'll go 88.
Oh,
why not?
All right, Dustin.
See what you did there.
51, 75, 88. How many receiving yards for Jimmy Graham the last time the Seahawks beat the Bears in Seattle?
I know. 82.
Ooh, that's a good score. He's in the middle.
I don't know. 82.
Yeah, I have no clue, dude.
Okay. Well, the actual number of receiving yards, whenever that game was, and the Seahawks beat the Bears in Seattle last time,
it could have been like 2012. I have no idea.
83.
Oh!
Which means, can you believe Thundercats are back?
He's such a hoe.
Justin is our 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion
of the world.
Congratulations, Dustin.
No, relax. Let's listen.
Just relax.
Stop ordering that trophy there,
man.
man.
Hold on to me.
Yeah, there you go. All right, it's gone.
Cancel
Justin, congrats.
Thundercats, ho!
Oh, Thundercats.
It's not a nice thing to call the Thundercats.
Ho, you're right. Ho!
Oh, it's bringing back so many memories now.
It does, doesn't it?
Getting called ho?
Yes.
I did not go there.
Man,
Hey!
I've been waiting for this song to drop for so long.
It's been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
of the world.
We'll be back in the second half of the show, but first a reading by the Reverend Moses. Let's get some Church of Seahawk positivity up in here. Thundercats, take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
I'm surrounded by idiots! Idiots!
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
All right, welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you coming off a Rocky Mountain high. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, or look for us on Podbean and iTunes. Join our Facebook group. Do it now, before your buzz is harshed. Oh, too late. All right, a little correction in the trivia. Apparently, it was not last year that we played the Bears in Seattle. It was 2015. Is that correct, guys?
27th of September.
All right, thank you. So, but he did have 83 receiving yards. So, Dustin, congratulations again on winning 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world, yeah. I said congratulations.
Think that's grounds for disqualification.
Yay! Congratulations, everybody. Get very happy. There it is.
Congratulations.
Yes. Shower me with your praise. Yes.
This quarter, we give you all the information you need to know as the Seahawks do hit the road in Chicago. And I thought as a public service to listeners of our 12-Man Fan Jam Show that I would help you do some comparing and contrasting in this week's 12-Man Fan Jam Show. First ever compare and contrast. All right. This is how this works. I compare and contrast two things to help you know the difference. And this week, we compare and contrast bears, real bears, with Chicago Bears fans. So I will tell you the difference between the two. For example, Bears have been known to eat almost anything, including snowmobile seats, engine oil, and rubber boots. Chicago Bear fans have been known to believe anything, like they needed to trade up for Mitchell Trubisky or that Rex Grossman can actually win them a Super Bowl. All right. Here's another one. A bear's sense of smell is around 100 times greater than a human's. However, a Chicago Bears fan sense of smell is terrible because their team stinks. All right. A male bear is called a boar or a he-bear. A female bear is called a sow or a she-bear. A group of bears is called a sleuth or a sloth. And a Chicago Bear fan is called a moron. All right.
Ouch.
Bears have traditionally not only been a symbol of, have been a symbol of pride and power in Russia. They are a sign of mediocrity in the NFL. This is comparing. See how this works? And just like real bears have never lived in Australia. The Chicago Bear fans have never known what it's like to be in the playoffs last few years. And finally, once bears breed, they go their separate ways. Male bears do not help the mother bear raise their cubs. This is just like most Chicago Bear fans. So there's not a lot of difference there. So,
ouch.
Comparing and contrasting bears and bear fans. All right. Now, hey, let's see how healthy these teams are by turning to our own doctor, Dr. Dustin, with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show injury report. Dr. Dustin, tell us the news.
Doctor, give me the news.
Oh my goodness. All right. Have you guys ever seen Ace Ventura?
No.
Yes.
No. All right. So you remember this? Will might in particular remember the scene where Ace shows up to Ray Finkel's parents' house.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "What do you know about Ray Finkel?" And he's like, takes in the big deep breath. That's kind of where we're at with the Seahawks injury report, where I go, ooh, Fluker, KJ, Bobby, Doug, Trey, Shaquille, Delano, they're all hurt. Yeah.
Seriously, what the hell is going on in Renton this week?
I have no idea. Fluker dealing with a hammy. KJ has his knee injury. We know about that. We're trying to work through it, see what happens. Bobby apparently hurt his groin. We're looking for volunteers to fix that. Doug, his knees hurt. And then his other knees hurt. So that sucks.
So if you're looking,
Trey Flowers apparently has a hammy that's not working right. Shaquille Griffin and Delano Hill have injuries. Thigh and hammy, they're hurting. They did not practice. Every single one of those dudes I just mentioned did not practice. Limited practice. McDougal, his knee hurts. He's not practicing.
This just pains you.
That's just the Seahawks.
I want to take this moment to let the listeners know that if you are interested in volunteering to work on Bobby Wagner's groin, send us an email that says, I want to work Bobby Wagner's groin, care of 12-Man Fan Jam Show at gmail.com.
What was the email address?
And we will see what we can do.
I knew that was coming.
All right, so that's just the Hawks. Here we go.
Bears.
More fun, guys.
The Bears.
Bears. Rawr.
The Bears.
Defensive back, Houston Carson. His forearm and his back is hurt. I'm not going to speculate, but I'm going to say that's a self-gratification injury.
Wow! Wow!
What? Kind of long is hurt. His ankle sucks, apparently. Limited practice. Bryce Callahan is out. His knee sucks with a lot limited practice. And everybody knows that this week it's Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
The official report's not out yet. This is just who didn't practice. So we're going to find out tomorrow after practice who actually is questionable, likely to play and all that. So that's where we're standing, guys.
You know, it's
back to you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dr. Dustin. It's the professionalism that I respect.
Dustin, what are the odds of a CJ Pro sighting Monday night?
It looks like he's gonna play. His vaginitis has not been an issue yet.
Oh my God!
Right.
Hey, but
What kind of world? What kind of world do we live in where everybody's hurt but CJ Procise? I mean, this is bizarre.
Yeah.
And before we get to the weather and the fashion, which is always a highlight, we do have an addition. That's the linebacker Hendricks, who's a pretty good linebacker. Now everyone's like, he's done something wrong, and he has. But it's
putting it mildly.
Well, okay, it's insider trading. Let's put this in perspective.
We're talking about that with the injury thing.
Well, it's just an addition on the team. He's going to be on the team, so it's like a roster move, kind of. So we kind of put our roster moves with the injuries, because
All right. Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Am I offending you?
No. I'm just surprised.
You will remember this disrespect.
Yeah, all right. This disrespect will be remembered.
That's been noted.
That dude committed the Martha Stewart of crimes, the Martha Stewart of felonies.
Right. So, and what I'm saying is, it's a crime. He should go to jail. I agree. He did something wrong, but he didn't hit somebody. He didn't kill somebody.
Dude, it's the Martha Stewart of felonies. Like next week when we come up with nicknames, if you want to come over with nicknames for this dude, I'm calling them Martha.
Okay, you can call him Martha right now. That would be awesome.
The thing is,
what is this? The DC universe?
In
Everybody's
fact,
named
Dustin,
Martha?
I want Dustin to go to the VMAC and call him Martha. I want you to find him, and I want you to go, hey, Martha.
And videotape it, because we want to see what happens next.
You think I won't?
I think you will.
So next, guys, because we're also struggling on the running game as well a little bit. So are we expecting to like OJ Simpson to be signed?
Now
come in for a year and do that as well.
Well, but there's murder and there's inside trading. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we might take a stab at it.
Nice. It's not like he's beating his girlfriend. It's
right.
not.
But that being said, it is a crime.
We already got one of them.
Right.
That wasn't a joke. I'm saying. Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay, so that being said, we'll see what this guy can do in a Seahawk uniform, at least for next week. There's no guarantee he'll even be able to play after that because they may come down on him and they may not. So we'll see. His trial is until January, but the NFL can still do something about him pleading guilty. So
I was going to say, what an awesome parting gift for him to take to prison, a game-worn jersey, by himself in the Seattle.
All right. Hey, let's take a look at what the weather's going to be for this game by turning to a guy living in England. Yes, it's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Weather and Fashion Report with Matt from Mariel, England. Oh, Matt!
It's raining man.
Yes, thank you, Moses. Well, to quote Donkey from Shrek, we're on the road again. And this time it's to Soldier Field, Chicago. Now, as the US Weather Service has been quite busy this week, I decided instead to get my weather from the Hydrometeorological Center of Russia, mainly because of the link between Bears and Russia. So I phoned them up and they were at pains to persuade me that their weather satellites were definitely only weather satellites and in no way posed a threat to anyone and were definitely not being used to zoom in or spy on anyone. Although, Moses, they did tell me that when you were practicing the floss dance earlier in just your underwear, they had to turn them satellites off for an hour to prevent long-term damage to the sensors.
Damn it!
So, can you not do that, please? Now, Katerina at the centre was very friendly and helpful and told me that the weather on Monday would be warm with highs in the 80s during the day, falling away to a humid evening with a chance of isolated thundery showers and some very light winds. So let's hope for no lightning delays because it's a Monday night football game and I'm already up until 3 a.m. So if we could avoid them, that would be great. Thanks. Now, what to wear for this game? Now, this was a hard one for me, Moses, because when I heard we were playing with Bears, well, I must admit I had some pretty distracting flashbacks to an alcohol-fueled night I enjoyed in London some time ago. But seriously, though, Bears can be scary. You got polar, grizzly, brown, panda, koala. But okay, maybe not the last two. But bears in general can be scary, especially when you're in their territory. So I think the best way to counteract that is for everyone to go dressed as non-threatening bears. So Winnie the Pooh, Baloo from Jungle Book, Paddington Bear, and of course the least threatening bear of them all, Jay Cutler, with optional cigarette and meme. But that being said, Moses, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather. So Moses, back over to you.
Awesome, thank you so much. Hey, a question about dressing up like a bear. Now, Winnie the Pooh doesn't wear pants, so is that optional?
Well, not every bear has to wear pants. I'm just saying,
Okay. All right.
Optional where I live.
Thank you, Brant, as always. brilliant as always. And now the guy that always has our number, the man with numbers and tokens all around him. It is time for Statsman Mark and the 12-Man Fan Jam Show by the numbers for our game and maybe a couple teasers, Mark. What do you got?
Ricky, don't lose that number. Ricky, don't lose that number. Ricky, don't lose that number.
Well, thank you, Dennis. First off, amazingly, the picks went well. Now, they weren't heard on the show because even though it was my only responsibility a week ago, I still somehow botched my inaugural pick show.
Yeah, Mark's going to pick, 3 games? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to give us 3 games.
I just love that I missed my only segment. I did remember to give the information that's coming up here, though. For Seattle, let's see, we are getting 3 points. So it's Seattle +3 in Chicago. The over/under is 43.5.
Good.
So there you have it. And I've made a decision not to get involved in this game, so I don't want to be tied in with jinxing it.
Right.
But the picks. The picks a week ago that I gave, they are recorded in the special.
That I will
features,
verify. The
special features segment of the show. Now, anyway. Let's see. I had Carolina -3, Minnesota -6, and those were winners. Carolina beat Dallas, Minnesota beat San Francisco.
Yes.
And then the losing pick was Houston +6. So I was had my heart in place thinking that maybe if you spot the opponent a few points, they'll cover against the Patriots, but not to be had. This week, I have Philadelphia laying the 3 points. So Philly -3 in Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. The Giants +3 points in Dallas.
Ooh.
And then seldom do I ever bet against Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau, but this guy is gimpy. I don't know. I think Minnesota's just a better team, so I took Minnesota +1.
All right. Wow, very good. So your picks.
And those are the picks. And I ran all these picks by, a special online friend, Dennis.
With tokens?
Coco Hontus. Coco Hontus told me that these 3 picks sounded reasonable to her, so I tipped her 50 tokens.
Bless
there
her
you go.
heart. Well, Coco Hontus, let's see how she does this week.
Coco Hontus. Love her.
Oh, man. Let's see how she does. Thank you, Sassy Mark. Quick disclaimer, these numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show does not endorse betting on anything at any time. Please don't take anything we say on this show ever seriously, especially this or anything ever. And that is the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up next, it's time for our predictions, our prognostications, our game balls for the Bears game. You are listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, getting ready to bear it all. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Statsman Mark. And when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
It is time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of 12-Man Fan Jam Show. And in this quarter, we make our predictions, our prognostications, and of course our game balls for the upcoming game between the Seahawks and the Bears. All right. We are in Chicago, as it was mentioned earlier, 3-point underdogs, and the over-under is 43.5. Let's start with Team 12's picks. First, Jose said, well, after a tough loss in Denver this week, we're going against a good pass rush, but a bad secondary who got beat by a quarterback on one leg. I say Russell on both legs shreds that secondary, and we win 27-20. Game ball to Russell with 3 TDs. Prognostication, Penny gets one of those TDs via reception, and I get on a plane to Seattle next Friday with us having a 1-1 record. All right, Jose, I certainly hope you're right there. Tom, I have a really bad feeling about this. Here we go. I don't know if our offensive line, quote, Effetti, close parenthesis, can hold up against Mac. The Bears have an incredible defense, and Trubisky has good weapons. 24-17 Bears. Game ball to Wilson because he'll be running for his life all game. Wilson throws for 2 touchdowns as a prognostication. Little Mo, 31-10 Seahawks. Earl Thomas, game ball, and Thomas gets an INT. Mark Ty Turner did not get his pick in on time.
0.
So
Yeah.
Mark will be sitting this round out. Mike Pascal.
Mark, we appreciate the help, with keeping us close.
Yes, Mike Pascal. Okay, here goes. Score, Cubs 23, Mariners 19. He says using reverse psych from last season, which worked. We'll see. Hawks had the best record on Monday Night Football, and mostly in Seattle, and they do. They're 23-9 or something ridiculous. But the Bears have one of the best home opener September records, and they have the Hulk on defense. Prediction, Bears have more sacks than Hawks. Game ball to Earl. All right, now for Team Posse, and I thought if it's going to be, Chicago, we got to have some blues. We have some Chicago blues, and not just Chicago blues in the background, but Sweet Home Chicago blues, because that's where we're going. It may not be a sweet home for us, but we're going to play this during our predictions. The Sweet Home Chicago, a little Robert Johnson for you, a little Blues Brothers also played it. Will, what you got for us?
Sorry, was that me?
Yeah, Will?
You Will, right?
Are you Will?
Yes.
You just can't stand it. It's the music, right?
What?
It's the music, right? Sweet Home Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago's not very sweet, I gotta say.
Okay. All right. Is that better? Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Turn it down, band. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I've gone back and forth on this one so often, and with all the injuries, there should be no way that we should win. So I'm predicting a win.
Dude, that music is awful. Turn it off.
Dude, do not slam the Blues. Go ahead,
in any event, I'm guessing 24-20 Seattle. Game ball goes to Chris Carson because we will need to run the damn ball if we want to win.
Agree.
And I believe that he will end up with over 100 yards from scrimmage total, rushing and receiving.
Oh, rush and receive. Okay. Gotcha. Statsman Mark.
Yes.
Statsman Mark, is the Blues Brothers... Wait, is the Blues Brothers not one of the best movies ever in the history?
It is a great film.
I've seen that movie at least, I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating, over 200 times, I'm sure.
Wow.
I used to come home every day from school and watch it every day for like 2 years. Yeah.
And you never had a drinking or drug problem from seeing
I did not.
Belushi?
And no, I did not. No. And I obviously had no life, but that's another story. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah. Well,
take a solo, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Boogaloo till you puke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. So for the game, you know what? This is prime time. This game is a lot more interesting, even though we're coming off a loss. But the Bears are coming off a more troublesome loss. It's prime time. We have all the experience in big games like this early on. The Bears are going to be very good with Mac. I still think we pull this off. I think Seabass redeems himself. Seabass is going to get the game-winning field goal, 23-20, Seattle. And let's see, I will give my game ball to... I'm going to go Carson as well.
All right. Well done. Seabass with the game-winning field goal. Dustin.
Yeah.
Dustin, you like the Blues? Dustin, do you like this,
No.
Dustin?
No.
Yeah?
No.
No? Okay, I'll throw it better. Dustin, what
I'm
you got?
way younger than most of you guys. I'm more of a rap type guy. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
NWA, Eminem, Dr. Dre, West
Yeah.
Coast. That's kind of more my thing.
Okay. Who's snapping?
That'd be me.
Okay, cool. Dustin, hit it. What do you got?
About what?
Score, prediction, prognostication, please.
Oh, okay. Doing the show? All right.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, we can. It's kind of what we do. Hawks are going to win 27. I'm going to stick with all this, man. It's going to be 27-24 Hawks. Chris Carson's my...
Game ball?
Yeah, it's going to happen eventually. We have to have a running game if we're going to win games.
Okay.
And we didn't do that last week. I'm going to stick with it until yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say he's going to have 2 touchdowns, prognostication. He gets the game ball. Hawks win 27-24.
Carson with 2 rushing touchdowns. Is that what you're saying for your prognostication?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got to get that goal, man. I'm going to stick with it till we do it.
All right. Matt?
Yes.
Trombone solo.
Now take it down. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
distracting
You
when
feel
you're
that?
trying to give scores and stuff. You can't really hear anything apart from that silly music. Let's have a look here.
It's not silly music, but go ahead.
It sort of is. The Seahawks, I think, are going to win, but only just. I think this is the Seahawks 17, and the Bears, or what they call the Decatur Staleys, 14.
Yeah. Ooh, Decatur Staleys. Well said. Game ball?
Seahawks 17, Staleys 14. I think game ball. Let's give it a Big Willie.
Big Willie Disley.
Give it a Big Willie. Prognostication, I think Lockett's going to run one back for 6.
Oh, kickoff?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well,
kickoff or punt?
Kickoff or punt. It's
a
going to be one of them. I think
return
he'll run it back for
touchdown.
6.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for 6.
All right. Here's a little bit more for you just because. Okay, my turn. The Seahawks leave the Mile High City rather down after a disappointing loss in which, even though they didn't play well enough to win, they did play well enough to cause a fumble that never happened and a Bronco touchdown that may or may not have actually happened, but I digress. Let's leave that behind us. It's time to move on this week, and even though the Seahawks currently have a worse record than the Cleveland Browns, it's still way too early to demand things like getting rid of Russell Wilson. I actually saw that post this week on social media to get rid of Russell Wilson. Or fire Carroll after 6 straight winning seasons, or any other knee-jerk reactions, or as I call them, jerk reactions. This team can still go 15-1, and what better place to start a winning streak than good old Chicago, home to the Blues Brothers, second city, and apparently wind. While the Seahawks were stuck in back-and-forth roller coaster, the Bears were preparing for a meltdown of epic proportions in front of a national audience. Bears led 20-0 over the hated Green Bay Packers, but before you could down another bratwurst and sauerkraut, the Bears reminded everyone who they were and let gimpy Aaron Rodgers off the hook as they lost 24-23 in one of the saddest moments in Chicago Bear history, right up there with trading a first-round pick for Rick Meyer. Okay, the Bears this year are led by Mitchell Trubisky, which sounds more like a fruity drink in a gay bar than an NFL quarterback. Oh. I'll have a Mitchell Trubisky with a lime spritzer on the side, okay? But they do have Khalil Mack, who seemed to think last week the Packers had destroyed his car the day before the big game and went all Charles Jefferson in Fast Times at Ridgemont High over the Packers. Wow. Look it up, kids. Mark, you're loving that one.
Oh, man, yeah. That moving in stereo.
Charles Jefferson in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They wrecked his car, and he just, destroyed the entire team. Okay. Watch the Seahawks over the Bears like park ranger in a semi-truck, sick and tired of Yogi Bear taking picnic baskets. 150 rushing yards for the team, Seahawks. My prognostication, led by my game ball Chris Carson, who will steamroll over the Bears, and the Seahawks are back, baby. Watch the Bears lose the game to the Seahawks by the score of Seattle Seahawks 28, Chicago Bears 17. Book it. All right. Well, hey. It is time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We're glad you decided to waste some time with us. We hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something. We learned a lot. We learned that Matt wants Big Red back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything on that line would be nice.
We learned that occasionally Moses can come up with a good song parody. We learned Dustin doesn't care. And we're looking, we're also no table jumping. No more table jumping, please. And finally, we learned that we are actually looking for volunteers to work on Bobby Wagner's groin. So if you want to contact us on that, we'll see who we have to. We'll see who we have to get.
Somebody has to fix it. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, somebody has to do it.
I think Coco Hontas can do that.
Coco Hontas.
It's a big job. It's a big job, but somebody's got to get their hands on it.
Get the phone out, Matt. Make your phone call. On behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our new sound Shadowhawk Will, our new sound Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Mike Pascal, Roger Goodell, Little Mo, Jose, Mark, Ty, Turner, and Tom Lucas, and Walter Payton, and Jim McMahon, and Rex Grossman. This is Moses saying until next time, go Hawks!
Go
Hawks!
Go Hawks!
If the Bears lose in the woods, does it make a sound? Wait, that's not right, is it?
That's not.
Probably not. No.
No.